Hi, folks. Welcome back to our podcast series. Today, I have a wonderful young guest with me today, Mr. Sudharsan. He is the CEO and co-founder of Bversity, an EdTech company from Chennai, and they are mainly into the bioinformatics and biotechnology. Can you believe it? He has he's mentored over 7,000 students across India in the field of biotech. So, welcome, Sudharshan.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks for having me here.
That's nice. He's traveled all the way from Chennai to meet us today to be on this podcast, if I can say. So, Sudarshan, my first question to you is, what was your interest to go into the life sciences or the biosciences field?
I think it's a very weird answer if I would give. So when I was still in school, I was always a huge Pokemon fan.
Wow.
Okay, I think that's how my fascination for biology started. Because when different animals used to have different powers, I used to imagine how I can create some of them on my own. I think that is when my biology ma'am introduced me something called as a genetic engineering, where you could actually go engineer your own organisms, your own species. And then I started doing a lot of self-reading. And then even started a blog on my own while I was still in my school. It's called geneticengg.com, where I used to read a lot about how can I create my own Pokemons when I'm in college. I think that's how my passion for biology and biotech started. And I did my undergraduate in genetics.
So, one true example of how teachers role model the students is Sudarshan here. So, all I know in Pokemon is, of course, Pikachu. That's it. And it's always Pika Pika and electrifying shock.
Yes.
That was one of the best series, in fact, as kids when we used to watch.
I think that helped me think a lot. Like, why did Pikachu have an yellow fur? Is there an animal that already has an yellow fur that I can probably bring in to see if I can create an yellow fur organism? So it helped me think a lot, ask a lot of why questions and how questions.
So, the way the program started was, a Pokemon is an imaginary animal or a species, wherein it's just that it's so beautifully created that it made you to think into the life sciences, what all and what next.
Yes.
So, having pursued into the biotech, you're also the co-founder for Bversity and EdTech, and this specialization is in bioinformatics and biotech.
Mm-hmm.
What made you to start with Bversity? What was the life-changing event that made you to say that I want to do something for this community?
I think see, I'm getting goosebumps. I think it was during COVID or something when so I ran Bversity with 3 of my other friends, Godwin, Sai and Rahul, when we were running another entity where we were teaching school kids biology, and we had a lot of biotech interns, people who are studying biotech having interned with us. I think one girl came down to us and said, she was in the 3rd year of biotechnology. She just came down and said, I want to quit college because I'm scared of not knowing biotechnology despite I'm studied it for 3 years online. And I'm sure even if I complete 1 more year, I will not be a biotechnologist only. It's better that I quit at this point and do an BCA or BBA and get into something that I really think my future will be. I think that incident kept all of us thinking that if someone has the guts to quit college after studying 3 years, fearing that they couldn't really build a career out of this, I think we said that's the space that we have to be. We shouldn't be teaching school kids biology. Yes, we can always do that at any point in our time, just as a hobby. But I think this is a bigger problem to solve. Helping biotechnologists find a career for themselves, which is very, very, very difficult because all 4 of us are biotechnologists and we have faced the same problems. Not able to build a career or not able to see a future for ourselves in this industry because we do understand this industry has evolved a lot. So I think she was the reason why we kept thinking, how do we solve this problem in a much efficient and a much better way?
So, hearing your story, how one person can influence into building something much bigger. And with all of us at some point would have faced it, what am I going to do if I'm not a success in what I have chosen? So I think you people stepping in at that point to say that we are there to help you, we can guide you through it, we can mentor you through it. I think it's a wonderful step that you've all taken. So tell me more about Bversity in terms of the different programs that you're offering people right now.
Sure, ma'am. I think we might have started Bversity with a very different maturity and mindset, but but right from the day one, we do really understand this industry really well. So one of the biggest insights for us that we keep sharing with all the learners, with all the folks, is this industry has evolved from being a service-based industry to a product-based industry. Which means 10 years ago, biotech industry was driven by research, which means the minimum qualification for you to even start working was a PhD. But today, this research-driven service-based biotech industry has become a product-based biotech industry, which is completely driven by data, technology, and by marketing. So the needs have changed. And in today's product-based biotech industry, you don't need a PhD to enter into this industry. You can, right after bachelor's, you can still enter. After your master's, you can still enter. I think this is the first understanding that we had. So with this understanding always there in our mind, is how we actually built Bversity around it. So we do understand this is how the industry is. And we could see how we can adapt around this industry so that we can help more people enter into this understanding of what we really have of this industry. So how do we do that is, we identify the industry demands or the areas in which this industry is going. For example, say healthcare, health tech, diagnostics, sustainability, on different arenas as such. And we try to offer industry-focused postgraduate programs in these spaces. And we just don't do that for a degree sake. Like I said, like we discussed before, around each of these programs, we first go ahead and build an ecosystem. That ecosystem will have product people, that ecosystem will have industries, will have venture capitalists, will have all the necessary things that is required for someone to actually go and nurture for themselves. So that's how we started building Bversity, and that's how we really are building Bversity as well.
That's amazing. That's amazing. In fact, how the fear of a young student brought you to build up something so big and still evolving and expanding and building a network, building communities. It's simply amazing.
I think as part of that, one of that ecosystem is where Atria University came in, because when we wanted to do all of that, we do understand that we cannot do something innovative out of this. We have to fit in, or we have to go with the traditional way, but try to do something around it. I think that's when we approached AU, and I think you are very grateful enough to tell that, okay, I think in this life science space, we can build something around this together.
So I think what brought AU and Bversity together was the mindset in terms of providing more experiential, industry-oriented projects for students and making them industry ready, and to give them an exposure. I think that is what brought us together.
True.
That is what AU is into. That is what Bversity is also doing. And especially in an niche area of life sciences, wherein life sciences was, as you mentioned, it was a center of research.
Yes.
So it's grown beyond that. And we are all adapting to that.
Yes.
Is what I would say. And going forward, what is your advice to the young people who are wanting to choose biotech, bioinformatics, or genomics?
One thing that I always say is, biotech is a huge umbrella and is one of the right industries in which you can actually go ahead and build a career. Because this industry has become cross-functional, like how other engineering departments were, like maybe 20, 30 years before. I think biotech has become cross-functional. We require a lot of hands in solving for a lot of problems. So health and food are some of the most vital things which every human lives for, or every human even works for. Both of them are biotech. Health and food is biotech. So someone who's choosing biotech, I think today you can choose it with a very confident, without the fear of the society judging you that if you choose biotech, you will not get a job. I think today, if you choose biotech, I think you are part of a really big industry.
True, very true. Whatever you told made a lot of sense to us in terms of, don't be afraid to choose biotech. There is a lot of future in this. So yes, definitely yes. Before we conclude, what would you want to say to our audience?
I think learning is very, very, very essential. You be it at any point in your life. Education is different, learning is different. Education is time bound. I think learning is infinite. So wherever you are, whomever you are with at any point in time, I think learning is very, very, very essential. I think that's what AU also stands for. I think I've met some of them at different, like people are from different ages here again, but constant learners. You listen to us. you give feedbacks, you work with us. I think that itself is a great mindset, ma'am. So I think that is something that I learned from AU, where again, something that I preach, and we talk a lot about learning as well. Making that learning is a continuous process, not time boxing it.
Thank you so much. So, guys, learning is infinite, not time bound. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.